Wow, hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I'm so happy to see you all. Let me Wow. Okay, let me let a couple of people join before I get going. Hey Marielle. Hello. You were fantastic just now and a very hard act to follow, girl. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but we're gonna see what happens. Okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead because there are a few people here. So let me just get started. My name is Rashina. I am a Reiki practitioner, well, a Reiki master teacher, also a crystal Reiki master teacher. Oh, thank you. Oh, don't look at my raggedy nails, y'all. Oh my gosh, but I'm whatever. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And you, like I said, you were fantastic, girl. Oh, you killed it. But I'm Rashina. I am a Reiki master teacher, a crystal Reiki master teacher. I am a certified womb sauna practitioner, which means that I am a yoni steaming professional. I am also a holistic birth doula, an intuitive coach. I am one half of the collective Amethyst and Ether, and I am the it and the all of the Homegirl Healer Honey, and I'm so hi fresh. And I'm so excited to be here with you all today. So I know that I have some big shoes to fill because this was a day definitely filled with so much healing, so many powerful practitioners of all kinds of healing arts just really sharing and loving on everybody who was present. And that's such a beautiful thing because we all for sure need it. And so I just hope that whatever bit of information that I'm here to offer you today is something that is helpful and that resonates. And with that, we're going to get right into the topic that I'm talking about today, which is tune into your womb. So one of the favorite parts of all of the stuff that I do is really having the opportunity to work with women as it pertains to their womb health. And we're not just specifically talking about how do you keep your yoni in order. That is a part of womb health, but as a woman who has had issues with her own womb health, which is even what brought me into doing the work that I do, womb health is more than just how you physically keep your womb in order, your yoni in order, but it's the emotional stuff. What are you holding on to that may belong to you, but will do, Marielle. Thank you. But what are the things that you are holding on to that belong to you, the traumas that you need to heal, or the things that don't belong to you? It's somebody else's trauma that you're carrying around that you need to let go of. And so for me, my whole journey into womb wellness started in about 2012. This is going to be a weird story, but bear with me because I'm going to get to the point. But when I was in high school, I think 11th or 12th grade, I had a history teacher who was a bit on the eccentric side. And you know, I rock with that because I'm eccentric boots. But he was very eccentric. And he showed us a video about the world ending on December 21st, 2012. So I'm 150 years old. So this was like late 90s that he showed us this. So I remember when 2012 rolled around, recalling that video and just being like, I wonder what's going to happen. And little did I know that what we think of as the end of things was really just the beginning of a different way of being for me and for so many people. And for me, what happened at that time was I started to get really in a space of like, I was about to turn 30 and I was like, I'm happy, but something just has to shift. There is something that I need to do differently because while I have lots to be happy about, I wasn't fully happy. I didn't feel like I was living the life that was really true to me. And so part of that began to manifest with my fertility. And I have PCOS, so my cycles were ridiculously crazy. It was a whole mess. Okay, are you here for healing too, fly? There's a fly that's just flying, but we're going to ignore that fly and keep it pushing. Anyway, I was really having to deal with my own fertility and what that meant for me. And so it wasn't as simple as uh, you know, it wasn't as simple as people think that fertility is. And what I came to realize was that I needed to really do some deeper emotional work, and I really needed to connect with my womb. Because what I started to realize about myself is that being a very empathic person, I was soaking up so much of other people's stuff that had nothing to do with me and that didn't belong to me. And so I'm definitely here for healing. Let me tell you something. As a practitioner, every single time I have a client, I always tell them, I'm here to support you and hold space for you and to aid you in your healing journey. But please know that you always serve as a mirror for me. Every time I've ever had a client, there is something in them that mirrors something in me. And so I think that that is really what informs my approach to wound work and to healing, realizing that I don't have all the answers. I'm not perfect. Sometimes my healing journey is messy. Sometimes I'm doing, I know that there are things I should be doing. I know I should get up in the morning and meditate, but I rather lay in bed and scroll on Facebook. And sometimes I just really need that disconnect. But how it was manifesting before was that I really was just stuffing my emotions down, and I wasn't really doing the work to just recognize them and then heal them. I'm great at recognizing what is wrong with me. I think I'm very much like other people where I can be my own worst critic, and so I can pick apart the things in me that are wrong, and I know it. But then what do we do with that information? And for me, what I had to do with the information I was getting was really go deeper with my womb. And so that is why one of the things that I constantly tell women is connect to your womb. Your womb has a whole story that she can unveil to you if you take the time to listen. But sometimes as we are socialized in a way that kind of keeps us separate from it. When we're growing up, we are taught, in some households, we are taught that sex is not a good thing. I am the child of two Virgos, Marielle. So my Aries Gemini behind with two Virgo parents is an experienced girl. But anyway, I think they help to give me a lot of the grounding because there's not a lot of earth in my chart. I'm very airy, even though people always think I'm an earth mother, but I'm very airy. But anyway, I felt very much like I needed to get rid of a lot of stuff, and I needed to be willing to confront my emotions and be willing to cry. And so when I finally when I finally tuned in and listened to my womb, she read me for filth and got me together. And so that's why I always encourage women, really, really, really be willing to do the work to love on your womb. It's not enough to just, buy the right products. I love a great, natural soap for my yoni, but how am I really pouring into my womb? And Marielle, you hit it on the head, be willing to cry. I was not a crier until I really hit 30. And crying is such a healing and therapeutic thing. And a lot of the things that I would cry about were things that had just been sitting in my womb, taking up space, infringing on my creativity. All of the things that I needed to move forward with, just all of the blockages were sitting right in my womb because I was still carrying around my traumas because I thought that my traumas informed who I am. I thought that my trauma was who I was. And I walked around very angry a lot. I think the people who know me in my life can tell you I was such an angry person because I didn't know how to cope with what was going on with me in any way other than being angry. And so when I had to go to therapy and I had to learn how to manage this anger because it was just destroying me. And even more than that, it was really, I know that I wanted to have a baby so bad, but I realized that as angry as I was, I could not bring a child forward in an angry womb. And so many people are bringing forward kids in an angry womb because they have been hurt and they haven't dealt with it. So when you tune into your womb, what you're really doing is going deeper with your own story. What are the experiences and the traumas and the good times and the bad times and all of the things? What are the things that I experienced that I am holding on to that don't belong to me, that I need to return to sender? What are the things that I'm holding on to that have fortified me and I need to keep? What are the things that are silly and foolish and bring me so much joy that I need to keep? And what are the things that no longer serve me that I'm afraid to let go of that are getting in my way? And again, for me, it all circles back to anger. And so as I started to get in tune with my womb, one time I did a womb meditation. And so I saw myself just kind of sitting very zen and peaceful and thinking this is going to be such a great experience. I saw myself sitting in my womb and everything was concrete. Can you imagine like going into meditation and you think that you're going into a sacred space and everything that you see is concrete? When I saw that, I was just like, wow, what am I doing to myself? What am I holding on to? And I realized that there were a number of things that I was holding on to, a lot of which was just me taking on the baggage of others. And when I say that, it's not specifically like me coming in and trying to be superwoman and, save people. But sometimes we really have a society full of people who are hurting. And so what do they say? Hurt people hurt people. So if someone that is hurt has hurt me, I'm holding on to that trauma. And the root of that trauma has nothing to do with me. I'm just a byproduct. And so I had to get very clear on the fact that I do not have a responsibility to anyone's wholeness and health but my own. And so when I did that, it informed the relationships that I had in my life. My relationships started to shift. How I see myself has started to shift. How I feel about myself, how I take care of myself, all of those things have started to shift because I saw that concrete in my womb. And so how many of you who are watching have ever like really taken the time to not just meditate, but really meditate with the intention of listening to your womb? So I'm going to assume that's nobody, but I'm going to assume that just for the sake of really illustrating this point. A lot of us have not been taught sex positivity. We have not been taught how to really. We've been taught that as women, our job is to take care of so many people. You haven't because you're afraid. Girl, I know. Like I said, concrete was all up in this thing. Concrete. That was the most like sobering thing ever, because as much as I had to realize that I had built up a hardness to everything. And that was so painful for me because I'm like, it's so many people in my life that I love. And if I have built up this wall and this hardness within myself, what am I really giving to them? How am I really showing the people that I love them if I can't even love myself enough to really clear out this baggage in my womb? Well, listen, Marcella, let me tell you what, when you ready to do it, girl, I got you. Hit me up and we gonna get through it. Because, I'm a girl from Southeast DC at the end of the day, and it ain't too much that can scare me. So I'm here to support you and we can get through it when you ready, only when you ready. Because I always say I don't have clients come to me unless they are ready for some trill healing, because I keeps it real and trill 1000% of the time. I try. I understand, Marcella. It's very hard because a lot of these things are innate to us, but they're not natural to us because we haven't been socialized to really do this work. Because there's a difference. We all come into this world with the tools that we need to navigate this human experience, but the way that we are socialized, it really can kind of it separates us from ourselves. And for a lot of women, being in a very patriarchal society and trying to, meet these different demands that are placed on us has really kept us disconnected from our womb. And let me tell you what about your womb. Your womb, every single thing that you create, everything that you want to do, your womb is where it starts. We literally are walking around, whether or not you have children or can have children, we literally come with the ability to create and manifest whatever we want. Sometimes experiences happen that disconnect us from that. And part of really tuning into your womb is remembering that power and working to reconnect to it. Remembering that you literally are the most powerful being of light and love out here. You can ball and shot call and do whatever you want to do just by the sheer will that you have. But a lot of times we just don't remember and we don't know that. And so how do we come back in? How do we get back in touch with the essence of who we are? And for me, I found that really putting the effort into my womb is what is helping me every day to get to that point. Spending time with my womb and really just being willing to meditate. One, like, I feel so much more in my body now. And like, I'm very claircognizant, so I'm constantly getting thoughts of intuitive information. And sometimes, like, I get physical, I'm, also clairsentient, so sometimes I will get physical sensations when something is not right, or when I just need to tune into something. But all those years of really just kind of stuffing all of my negative experiences, my anger, my fear, because fear is definitely a big thing for me, stuffing all of that down and just not dealing with it really kept me separate from my womb. My womb had a whole story to tell me that I did not listen to, because I was afraid, and because I was angry, and because I just would not take the time to sit down, or because I was putting my time into what other people were trying to do and succeed, and not focusing in on myself. One of the best things that I can offer here, if you really want to take care of your womb, take care of yourself and put yourself first. One of the best pieces of advice that to this day my mom always reminds me of is that the first law of nature is self-preservation. And that means you. So ladies, are you really taking the time to go deeper with yourself? Are you taking the time to just sit around and do nothing with yourself? We constantly feel like we have to be on the go and do. And I feel like this year particularly has been one where no matter how much I want to do, I just constantly feel like I'm being set down and doing too, because I'm doing too much. And because I want to be all things to all people, the person who is hurting is me, because I'm not pouring into myself. So when we say tune into our womb, we're really talking about pouring into ourselves. You know, I just feel so much like I love to see a woman who is assured and who is firm in her power. And I feel so much that we allow, and not because we're doing it on purpose, but we don't know any better, because we just trying to make it in this world, but we allow so many things to tear away at our power. The experience, like I have a lot of clients who have experienced sexual traumas, for example. And one of the main things that they say is that they feel that their abuser has taken away their innocence or their power. And so sometimes, like when we have these very traumatic experiences, we learn to cope by living in the illusion that another human being has the power to take something from us that belongs to us. Nobody can take your power from you. Nobody can steal your innocence, because that's yours. It's yours. And so I spend a lot of time just coaching my clients to say, this is my innocence. This is my body. This is my womb. It belongs to me. And I'm taking back the parts of myself that I thought somebody took from me, but they couldn't. Can't nobody ever take nothing from you that's yours. Because what's for you is always going to be for you. And nobody can never take that from you. But sometimes we need a reminder of that. So tuning into your womb means that you are taking the time to reclaim your power, to reclaim those things, or to reconnect rather with those things that we believe have been taken from us, but have always been there. We have just been afraid to access them. And so, wow, that was a lot. That was deep, because like I said, every time I'm saying things to other people and I'm doing healing work for other people, I'm constantly healing and working on myself. And something like, I've been listening to the other ladies throughout the day and have been blessed and healed for sure. But one of the things that really kind of stuck out to me was just I heard a lot about stuffing your emotions down. And that's why I keep cycling back to that, because I want you to know that it's okay to release those emotions. One of the things that I think is really important for women to do is to understand that you have a right to your emotions and you have a right to express them. And we're not always taught. Sometimes our parents tell us, don't cry, don't do this, don't do that. Sometimes things happen to us and we are not supported in the best way possible to really help us to overcome it. And you have a right to be mad about those things. What I have been learning is anger is a tool. Anger does not have to be a blockage. Anger can really be a tool. How can you use your anger to really move you forward? How can you use it to inspire you and propel you? Because at the end of the day, anger is fire. Fire keeps us warm. Fire can destroy things, but create space for us to rebuild those things. Fire can be really healing. And so, how can we use all of the negative experiences? How can we use all of the things that we feel to hold us back? How can we use those things to really heal? To get the mess out of our womb? Because one of the things that I see very often in terms of dealing with clients is that there are a lot of women with fibroids and other like reproductive issues, very long cycles or absent cycles, endometriosis, all kinds of reproductive issues that women are having. Why are we having these issues? Because a lot of us are angry. A lot of us, absolutely, Shekmet come through, and she probably gonna show up because I just got hot. So, but so many of us are so angry, and we just have not processed it because we are afraid of that anger. But let me tell you what, I will say this, and this is a silly example, but bear with me. I saw Gabrielle Union had a movie recently. I cannot remember what the movie is called, but maybe it's called, I don't know, but it was about her basically trying to save her kids because they were held captive in her father's house or something like that. So I saw that movie with my mom and my sister. I don't have kids yet, but my mom and my sister both have kids. And so it's just that something about that movie and seeing that woman who was angry and who was hurt, she turned that anger and that hurt into triumph. She strategized. She fought. She kept moving. When she was tired, she did not stop. She kept going because she was fighting for what mattered to her. And so to me, it was just a movie, but it was a perfect example of using your fire to heal, using your fire to protect, and using your fire to insulate you from the traumas of the world, to insulate you even from your own traumas. And so I really feel very much like that, like as women, we need to reconnect with our fire and our passion. We really, really do, because by nature, we are the caretakers. We are nurturers. And if we see someone who we love that we have nurtured being hurt, what is our reaction? We're going to snap into react. We're going to react, and we're going to tear some things up, and we're going to make sure that we take care of those people that we love. And so part of really tuning into your womb is realizing when you need to do that for yourself. So if you are angry, be angry and express it. Don't let it bog you down, but definitely do not be afraid to express your anger. Don't be afraid to be real about your anger. You know, a lot of us are holding on to stuff because we are angry because we've been hurt and we haven't figured out how to deal with it. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to hold on to it. If you're mad, be mad, and let whoever it is know that you're mad. Like, begin to release those things, you know? We need to create room in our wombs for all of the beautiful things that we really want to create in our life. If you are like Marielle makes candles, well, where do you think that inspiration comes from? From your womb. You're giving from yourself to heal other people, but you have to make sure that your system is whole. You know, you have to make sure that you are whole and that you are really in a space where you're taking care of yourself and prioritizing yourself. And so part of taking care of your womb is putting yourself first and really just prioritizing your own self-care. I think another thing that that I would like to offer is that tuning into your womb means that you stop giving people your stuff. And when we say stop giving people your stuff, we're not just talking about physically giving your body. You should certainly be cognizant of who you allow into your energetic space. You should be very sorry about that. I just kicked the camera, y'all. But you should be very aware of who you let into your energetic space, into your physical space. Because what you definitely don't need is some raggedy little whoever leaving a little nasty energy up in your womb area. Nobody has time for that, because then you got to come see me. And in addition to the other herbs that I use to stim you, I got to put some sage in there too, because we got to exercise whatever is in there. Like, be really protective of yourself. You have to be the guardian of your garden. And by your garden, we're talking about your womb. You are the only protector that your womb has. And so how are you doing that? Are you like, I've been hearing a lot, especially with everything that's been going on in the news. I've been hearing a lot of people say, check on your strong friend. Well, number one, I have been very kind of triggered by that personally, just because I do feel like personally I'm always put in the position of strong friend, but I'm not anybody's strong friend. I just want to be your friend. And if I'm your strong friend, you probably, and somebody on social media has to tell you to check on me, then you probably aren't a very good friend to me. And the reason, and another thing about me having an issue with being a strong friend is because I've been very intentional about fostering relationships with people that is symbiotic. And a lot of us, we have this superwoman complex, and we feel like we have to save everybody. I'm not your mama, and I'm not your superwoman. I'm dealing with my own anxieties and all of the things that I go through on a daily basis. I don't have time to be strong for you, but I do have time to love on you and support you, and you have time to do that for me. But just the strong friend thing, we don't have to be the strong friend, and we definitely don't have to hold on to people who are not filling our life with joy and all the things that we feel like we deserve. So stop giving your energy, your creativity, your joy, your peace, your ability to manifest whatever you want. Stop giving those things to other people if you haven't first given them to yourself. So before I go on, I know that I'm not specifically going into particular like womb health things, because I feel that the message that's kind of been sitting on my heart is that your womb health is your wealth as a woman, but your womb health is not just what kind of soap you use on your womb. Like for me, I am a fan of the honey pot soap, and I use it all the time. I also like Ashley natural soap. So my yoni is fine, like, because I take care of it physically, but you have to go deeper. You have to take care of your womb and your yoni on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, on a mental level. Womb care, yoni health is more than just the physical and knowing the parts. Because that's easy to do. You can read the book, you can Google, you can do all of that. But how are you really fortifying yourself and ensuring your own emotional health? How are you doing that? It's not about holding on to things, because the things don't matter. The things don't matter, because really it's not the things that are holding us back. It's really our inability to let go of the past and to see ourselves as much more than our traumas. We are the sum of our experience. So yes, part of that is the trauma that we have experienced, but also we have a lot of positive and great experiences that are just as much a part of who we are as the trauma. And so instead of giving space to the trauma to grow, to bear fruit, to bear that bitter fruit, we really have to consider, is this trauma something that I can hold on to the memory, but I don't have to keep it in my womb space. I can really release the pain of it. I know that it's something that happened, but I don't have to stay connected to the pain. Like, what do you need to let go of in your womb? For me, it was concrete. And like I mentioned before, I did my womb meditation, and I had so much concrete in there. And part of it was anger. Part of it was feeling not good enough, feeling rejected, feeling invisible to people. All of these things are emotions that I experienced, not because of anything in particular that I did. It was really from my interactions with other people. But at the end of the day, those people who hurt me were going on and living their best lives. And here I was meditating and seeing concrete in my womb, wanting a baby and not having one, not feeling adequate, not feeling good enough, and just really not feeling good about myself. I wasn't whole. And so I think that it was my experiences that really led me to see that, okay, I can do the physical work, like I can eat right and exercise. I can do all of these things that they say will help, will help time, especially with PCOS. Because like I said, my real entry into wound work started as a result of my journey with PCOS. And so they tell you, don't eat too much sugar. What else do they say? Don't eat too much sugar. Make sure you have enough protein. Cut out the carbs, exercise. I was doing all of those things and it was helping to a degree, but I was still miserable. I still did not feel whole. I still did not feel like I deserved the good things in my life, or that I deserved the good things that I wanted to bring into my life, because I was bogged down by the concrete in my womb. And so as I began to like really develop my healing journey, because I started out as a Reiki practitioner, and so I understood, okay, great, like now I know how to balance my energy, I know how to balance my chakras, and I know how to do these things. But I really was not getting to the issues in my womb. I was not getting to them. And so even though I was making progress, I still felt tethered to the past, and I still felt tethered to the pain. I was not at a match. I'm very clear that I was not at a match, because it was definitely, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to confront all of the pain. I wanted to continue to smile and be happy and do stuff for other people. But at the end of the day, when it was time for me to do things for me, I would just lay in my bed. Like sometimes I still do that, but I try not to do it as much. But sometimes, like when I would be on the go and doing everything for everybody else and not giving to myself. And so I was so angry, and I just wasn't moving forward. When I said that I had enough and I was really ready to look at the ugly parts of my journey, that's when the real healing began. That's when I started to do my womb meditation, and I would start to see the cracks coming through in the concrete. Wow. Imagine that. Full concrete, everything like just gray. Sorry about that. I was trying to adjust, but everything was gray and unhappy. And as I really started to do the work, when I gave a name to my womb, when I asked her what, I was in a session, I was getting my yoni steaming session, and I had to find out what my womb's name was. And when I gave her a name and I created space to understand my experiences from the perspective of my womb, that was a game changer for me, because I was able to look at initially I would look at my experience literally from my own mindset, from my own perspective. But I felt like being able to really look at it from the perspective of what was going on with my womb allowed me to really be able to do it more objectively and be the observer. And so if I'm being the observer, in my view, I am seeing what is happening. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just receiving information. And once I had the information, I was able to synthesize it and say, so number one, I needed to stop beating myself up. I was making myself sicker, in terms of my womb health, because I was beating myself up about everything. And so I think that one of the things that I really had to do was to really learn to become my own friend. And part of becoming my own friend was, again, releasing relationships that did not serve me anymore. Really beginning to do my own spiritual work, and being more conscious of the things that I put into my body, being conscious of the things that I used to adorn my body. I had to really begin to see my body as a temple, and when I started to do that, it started to shift the way that I saw myself, and that's when the more of the concrete in my wound started to fall apart, because I started to see myself as a complete person. And I could see that, yes, I was shaped by my experiences, but I am not held back by them. I can use that information to really move forward, and to really to help other people, which is why I do the healing work that I do. It is for me in a sense of, I do feel like I heal every time I heal others, but I really get to share. Like, I feel like I am I take a different approach to healing, because I feel like healing should be accessible in a sense of, like, I am not always in light, love, and zen. Sometimes I'm mad, and sometimes I want to cuss somebody out, and being okay with the duality of my own journey. We're not going to get it right every single time. And so by allowing myself to literally just be human and to be honest with myself and say sometimes, like, I mean, sorry if y'all got kids in the room, but I'm a girl. I'm a Hennessy girl, and sometimes I just need to have my Hennessy and just be ratchet with my friends for a bit and not feel this like I have to be perfect. I have to do everything right so that I could be a healer. Because a lot of us probably are dealing with imposter syndrome, and I definitely was one of them. If I make a mistake, if I don't act perfectly, if I don't eat Brussels sprouts every single day, I felt like a fake in my own body. And so really coming to terms with the fact that, yes, I'm a full person with a range of emotions. And so that is absolutely so true. And I believe that so much. And it's that really informs my approach to my work. And so a lot of times when I'm working with my clients, I'll let them know, listen, in this session, I might curse a little bit. It could go any type of way, but know at the end of the day that I'm really here holding space for you. And it's my job to be honest with you and to be real with you, because that's where the healing really is. It's in the honesty. You know what I mean? And so I had to really be willing to do that with myself first, and just see myself as a person and see myself as imperfect and take and enjoy it. And I do enjoy my imperfections. There are some things about me that I'm just not going to change. And I get to not do that. And that doesn't make me any less of a healer. And it doesn't mean that I'm not continuing to grow and evolve. I grow and evolve every single day. Who I am today at 35 is much different than who I was back in 2012 when I even started this journey. And anybody who knows me knows that, with my flaws and all. And so I like to take a very, very real. Okay, you said I'm very spiritual, but I cuss a little bit. Well, I cuss a lot. So, and I mean, and I've been really trying to be cognizant of this today, because I want to, make sure that I'm respecting people who may be, watching this with their kids. But I do a lot, and I don't want to change that about myself. I want to show up as myself, and I want to be, I always tell my clients, I'm not the healer. I'm literally just the conduit. And so I want you to see that healing can look like a normal everyday person who is battling with the same issues that you are, who is going through and still trying to find a way. I'm just here just showing you the things that I learned and hoping that somehow it inspires you. And so when I really started to take that approach to my healing and realizing that it didn't need to be perfect, more of the concrete was clearing out of my womb. More of that concrete was gone, and I started to see light peeking through. So we have gone from complete concrete, everything is gray, to beginning to see shade, like cracks, light coming through the cracks. And at that point, that's when I knew that I was onto something, and also that I really had a chance to change and to let the things go that weren't serving me. And so I think that, we really have to get real with our healing process, and we have to be real with ourselves. Thank you, Marvelous. You know what, Marvelous? Are we following each other on Instagram? Because I feel like we were, and I remember you. If we not, we need to, girl. But I just, I really feel so much like my job is literally just to show up and reflect you, to reflect what you are going through, because I always say I'm a very regular girl in a very regular world, and I just happen to do something cool, something fun that I think is helpful to people, and I enjoy doing it. And so I want to encourage everyone who hears this, on your healing journey, you do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to get it all right. Every day is an opportunity to really shift your narrative. So yesterday, I ate pork rinds. Today, I'm probably going to eat more pork rinds. But tomorrow, I'm on. And I'm back to doing the things that really feel my spirit, that really elevate me. You do not have to be perfect. None of us have to be perfect. And quite honestly, when I started to really accept that I did not have to be perfect and I could be myself and be okay with that, that is when things really started to shift in my womb. Like, I felt differently about myself. I felt differently. I remember having a conversation with my husband in the middle of the night one time. And he said something to me along the lines of, I love you, but you won't let me love you. I love you too. I love you too. But yeah, he told me, like, I love you so much, but you won't let me love you. And that was a really pivotal moment for me because I realized that I was not giving myself the love that I deserve. How could I open myself up to let somebody else love me when I literally could not love myself the way that I needed to? And so I had to really go in and ask, why? Why did I not give myself the same love that I feel that, the love I want to give to other people? Hello, Knowledge is Power, 79th November 19th. Hey, I really had to give myself that love. And so I remember getting up that night, like I said, because we were having this conversation literally at 3 a.m. in the morning. Who knows why we were up that late, but we were having this conversation then. So I got up, I got my candles. I had a blue healing candle. I had some herbs that were associated with the different things I felt like I needed to heal at that moment. And I dipped my candle in it, and I burnt my candle and had my crystals, and I sat and I meditated and I gave Reiki to my womb. And I really was able in that space I was able to affirm myself. I had such a great conversation with myself that night. It was very deep, and it was actually a very personal conversation. So probably not the best to really go into it here, but I realized so much about myself, and I started to see myself in a different way. And I started to love on my womb in a different way. And so again, I didn't have time for people who were not feeding me intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. I can't be your friend if you can't pour into me in those ways. And that started to shift my relationship with my womb, because if I'm expecting that from other people, guess who I'm expecting it from first? Myself. You know, being able to have the hard conversations was something that, being able to have hard conversations in a way that was appropriate and respectful versus me just flying off the handle and snapping out, that started to shift when I had that conversation with myself. Again, all of this is clearing up more and more space in my womb. In that time frame when I started doing all of that work, what I realized was that I opened up myself to be so creative. I would like wake up out of my sleep and have like ideas for things to do. And that hadn't happened to me in so long. And I was like, something has to be wrong with me because I'm creative, but I haven't felt creative in a very long time. When I really got serious with my womb healing, when I really began to tune into my womb and do the work, I was creating all the time, nonstop. I have pages and pages and pages of stuff that I want to manifest and bring forward because I did not allow the fear of what I would discover when I went deeper with my womb to deter me from actually going deeper with my womb. You know, I did not let that fear, and trust me, girl, I am a fear-based something or other. Like, you do not grow up in, well, DC is very different now, but you do not grow up in 1980s, 1990s crack epidemic DC and not have a sense of fear so that you could survive. But it translated into other areas in my life. And when I really began to connect to my womb and remember my power and remember who I am and what I came here to do, there's nothing that can stop me. I'm the only thing that can stop me, you know? And so I offer to you, go deeper with your womb. Do not be afraid to ask her the hard questions. Do not be afraid to cut off the people who don't serve you. If you have a partner or a spouse who is not pouring into you, stop giving them your stuff, literally and figuratively. Stop giving people who do not care about you. Stop giving people who Don't put you first just like you put them first. Stop giving them your stuff. We give away our stuff so much. We give away our power so much. And then people will take it and they will run with it, and we are left depleted. Don't do that to yourself. You don't owe anybody nothing. You don't owe them anything, and you don't have to give up your stuff. And so I think that I'm going to wrap up soon because I don't want to talk y'all to death because it's Saturday and I know y'all have things to do. Tomorrow, my honey and I are starting a 7-day detox. So I have to buy some veggies so that we can actually have a dinner each night, all of that. So, you know, life is happening to all of us. But I really want to say, women, your power is in your womb and you have a right to reclaim it. If somebody has traumatized you or injured you in some way, you don't have to allow them to continue to hold space in your womb. And you don't have to let them keep you disconnected from your innocence, from your power, from your fearlessness. You don't have to. Because it's yours by birthright. It's yours. And you can take it back. You know? Really tune into your womb. If you need support, like, I am available on all social media, Instagram, the Homegirl Healer, Twitter, Homegirl Heals, Facebook, the Homegirl Healer. I'm on YouTube, which if you go to my website, www.thehomegirlhealer.com, you'll be able to find a link to. Be very clear, my website is a little weird right now just because I'm actually going through a rebranding and my website is being rebuilt. So what you see is a placeholder, but will connect you to every single thing that you need to get to connect with me, because I feel like the work that I'm doing, it doesn't mean anything if I'm not putting myself in a position to support other women, to really pour into other women the way that other women have poured into me. And I think that's the final thing I'm going to offer. If you don't already have it, where's your village? Find your village of women who will support you in your womb healing journey. That is so infinitely important. As I really started this journey, what I realized was that I lost friends, and the ones who have come into my life have been friends who pour into me so much. Friends who, when I'm like, girl, I don't know if I can do this thing, they're like, okay, so yes, you can. You better get to it and you can do it. That will pep me up and will pour into me and make sure that I leave whatever space of doubt that I'm feeling, that it's left on the floor and I'm moving forward without it. You really need a village, and get you some women who are not afraid to talk about their yoni health and their womb health, and who really will like create space, because that's the way that we learn when we communicate. And part of tuning into your womb is really actually doing the research to focus in on your womb health and what works for you. If you don't already have a great OBGYN, find one, because what I do as a yoni steaming practitioner is fantastic and it helps so many women, but there is not, I should be part of your toolkit and not the only tool. Shore up your team that will really help you to get your womb in order if it's not. If you are fortunate that you're not experiencing physical issues with your womb, but you feel that it could be emotional, spiritual, things like that, get the help that you need to really work through those issues. Like, you have so many people around you who are willing to support you. People like me, people like Marielle, people like all of the fantastic women who have been speaking today. Part of the reason why I was so excited about this is not because of what I was going to say, because, you know, I'm just going to talk and share, and you can do with the information what you will, but just all of this power, like all the power in this that has been on this Instagram today. Can you, like, I can't even get my mind around it. These women, we all came together to really facilitate a space for healing for women, to detox, to let that stuff go that just doesn't work for you. When you let go of the baggage and the things that are holding you down from your womb center, you are creating space for other things to come in. The stuff that you actually want, not the stuff that is raggedy, busted, and ain't nobody got time for anymore. Like, that stuff is old. Let that go. Create space for what you want. You have the right to joy. You have the right to peace. You have the right to happiness, abundance, prosperity, all of the things that you want. That is yours. But in order for you to get it, you really have to do the work and create that space within yourself so that you can actually then have the opportunity to really create the life that you want. Be open. Love your yoni, girl power, and all of that. Love yourself first, though, in the midst of all of that. Put yourself first, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I'm here. You know, I'm here to help. I done gave y'all my social media. Please don't be afraid to reach out, because I definitely would love to talk more. I feel like I did not ask if anyone had any questions. If there are questions, I'm happy to answer them. But like I said, this is not the only place where you can connect with me. Tap into that Checkmate vibe. Yes, ma'am. Yes, absolutely. Don't be afraid of your power. Embrace it. Unapologetically woman. Let me tell you something. Sometimes when I'm getting ready to do things like this, I always gotta put, like, I have to have my cute earrings on and my, at least some brows on, and you know, like, I like to look a certain way because it makes me feel a certain way. That is me asserting my power as a woman, because I get to be feminine, I get to be beautiful, I get to be soft, I get to be whatever I want to be as a woman. You know what I mean? Like, embracing the power to do it on my terms, the way that I want to. You know, your womanhood, your femininity is yours to determine. Don't let anybody take away your power to choose. Always choose yourself also. And definitely tune into that womb. Listen to her, because she has some great stuff to tell you. Give her a name. Get to know her. Really get deep with your womb. Because your life is going to shift. It's going to change. Like, your life is never going to be the same once you do it, but it's going to be different in the very best way possible, because you are reconnected to yourself. And I mean, what more could you ask for than literally just the power of you, you know? Woo. So I also want to offer just opportunities to do womb yoni meditation. I think I felt like right before I got started, I felt very strongly like I'm going to need to start doing that. And so, but in the meantime and in between time, definitely take a moment to go within and really just like breathe in and breathe out and really meditate on your womb and just listen. Because that's a very big thing that I heard previously in the previous speaker, but just in general, like, listen to what your womb has to say. Go within and listen, because there is so much that you need to know so that you can really move forward in your journey. And your womb got the keys, okay? Your womb, baby, is a major key alert. You know, just really be willing to go deep and tune in to your womb and watch your whole life change, because you deserve it. And so with that, again, my name is Rashina. I am the Homegirl Healer. You can find me on Instagram at the Homegirl Healer, on Twitter at Homegirl Heals, Facebook, the Homegirl Healer, online, www.thehomegirlhealer.com. And if you want to email me, you can email me at heyrj@thehomegirlhealer.com. And so with that, I just want to wish you love. I want to wish you peace, girl power. I want you to ball and shot call, and beyond all, I want you to live trill. So with that, peace and love. Bye, y'all.